What's going on, guys? Doom King Yu-Gi-Oh! Finally back with a new deck profile. This is a deck I bought off my friend, and I've been desperately trying to figure out how to make it like competitively viable, and I think I've come up with a relatively powerful version of the deck. And by come up with, I mean net decked from various sources, so we'll just get into it. Keep in mind, this is a relatively budget-friendly deck. It's a very casual deck. You're not going to be seeing it at the local level, really. So we'll start off with, of course, three level 4. I cannot say these names for the life of me. 1 level 3, 3 of the level 1s, and 1 each of the main high level ones. The main idea of this deck, it's less so what it was in the past, where you would summon a Witchcrafter, discard a spell, and summon one of these out. Now you're trying to bring out the fusion monster, Witchcrafter Vice Madame, as soon as possible, and then she'll get you one of these guys and, you know, discard your spells from there. And to get there, all you need is really any one of these Witchcrafter cards, along with one of the fusion cards that we have, and then you're pretty much off to the races. Next, for our monsters, we have 2 Blazing Cartesia. This is one of the fusion monsters I was talking about, so as long as if you summon her off of fusion deployment, or if you just normal summon her, you'll be able to fuse with her and whatever Witchcrafter you have in your hand into the main fusion monster, and as I said, you're pretty much off to the races. Along with that, we have a singular Diabelsta, the Black Witch, one of the most searchable cards in the deck, but we do need... You could run at higher amounts. 2 or 3 would be honestly fine in this deck. I'm only running 1 because I only have 1. Basically, since this is a Witchcrafter Azamina deck, this will either get you to your Azamina core through cards like Hollowed Azamina off of Deception of the Sinful Spoils, or it will get you to your White Forest fusion card, which will get you into the fusion. Surprisingly enough, this is all the monsters we are playing. We have quite a few spell and trap cards that will get us towards these cards, which I will get into right now. The rest of our deck is in fact spells. So we'll start off with the Witchcrafter spells. 3 creation. If you draw this plus any fusion spell or any fusion card, you are pretty much set to get into your Vice Madame. 1 unveiling. We do want to play as many Witchcrafter spells as we can, but we don't want to brick on them. We don't want to overload our deck with spells, so we play 1 of any utility Witchcrafter cards. We do want a variety so we can add them all to our hand at the end of the turn, but this one specifically is more or less for namesake. 2 Witchcrafter Confession, the old fusion card from the deck. Still good now, still a very good way to get into the fusion, but it's less reliable. You have to open it, or you still have to go through the level 4 sending it, then the level 1 to activate its effect. It's good to have, it's good to discard. You will probably be relying on it less than you did before, but it's still nice to have. Now for the rest of our one-ofs, we have By Street. If you're able to send this off the level 4 and activating it at the end of the turn is still pretty good. It protects all your Witchcrafters, mainly, of course, the fusion. And we have Witchcrafter Scroll. These 2 specifically are less utility and more just having more names. But the last one, you may be wondering, Witchcrafter Holiday, I would play it at 3 or at 2. That works out pretty well. We have the art for it, but we don't have the card. Get the card. I've been looking for the Holiday for like a couple of years now. I just haven't been able to find it. I don't know where it is. I would probably run 3. 2 is probably a safer option, actually. I would run 2. 2 or 3, maybe even 1. It is, along with Creation and the Fusion, it is one of the more reliable spells in this deck. But at the same time, if you're going first, you don't necessarily need it, but it is good for the grind game. Now, moving on from the Witchcrafter spells, we have 3 Wanted, Seeker of the Sinful Spoils. Of course, this gets you Diabelsta, which gets you your Fusion, which gets you off to the races. If you open 2, it's fine. Discard 1 for Witchcrafters, activate its effect, shuffle back, draw 1. The Diabelsta stuff just does so much for the deck. Which, speaking of the devil, we have Deception of the Sinful Spoils. This is usually the card you will be adding off of Diabelsta. Should be 1 monster in your hand or field. Most of the time it will just be Diabelsta. And add 1 Azamina card from your deck to your hand. So your target for this, Hollowed Azamina. This will get you any of your Azamina fusions to protect yourself if you want to go for the fusion play. If you feel like you're safe, you can go into the same thing anyway, just so you have more negates. I don't know, I'm less familiar with the Azamina stuff, but most of the time I just go into the negate with this. But if you feel like you don't need your Azamina stuff, or you bricked and need a way to get into your fusion, you can search Sinful Spoils of the White Forest instead of Deception. So you would go Seeker, summon summon Diabellstar. Does Diabellstar add either of these two? Most of the time it will be this one. If you don't have a way to get into your fusion, it'll be White Forest. For our other ways to get into the fusion, we have 3 fusion deployments. We have a target in the extra deck that you can reveal off this to be able to summon Blazing Cartesia. This idea was completely stolen from Jesse Cotton and his video on Witchcrafters Azamina Deckprofile. I was like, hey, I've got fusion deployment. I can probably do this. Seems cheap enough. Keep in mind, this is a budget deck. If you have a better way to do it than Fusion Deployment, then by all means, go ahead. But for me, I just feel like Fusion Deployment, you get Blazing Cartesia. If you've already done it, it's still a spell card, which of course Witchcrafters love. And it's just, I don't know, I find it really fun. For our utility-ish cards, we have 2 Magician's Restage. Anyone who's played Witchcrafters in the past would probably be familiar with this. You would go Witchcrafter, discard Restage to search you either Magician's right hand or Magician's left hand. These two, respectively, negates the first spell your opponent activates and negates the first trap your opponent activates for that turn. So each turn it will negate one spell and 1 trap in best case scenario. And of course, if you don't want to go that route, it is also basically Holiday, except it's not recursive. But if you do use it as Holiday and it gets sent to the graveyard, you will still be able to add your right and left hand magicians. And for our one-offs, we have 1 Reasoning, 1 Magicalized Fusion, and 1 Caught by the Grave. Caught by the Grave, if you're doing it with your friends, you probably don't need this if you agree to not use any hand traps. Magicalized Fusion, another way to get into Madame, and Reasoning. Getting any of these Witchcrafter spells in the graveyard is always pretty good, along with your Seeker, which you can shuffle back to draw 1, Restage, sent to the graveyard, add one of these 2, and of course, if they do end up calling your Witchcrafter monster, they still have good utility in the graveyard. And then I just have 3 off spaces, so 2 of these would be Holiday. Monster's Gate you could play, but it does eat up your normal summon, unless you're tributing, say, Diabellstar, but I like to have it just so I can send more of these cards to the graveyard, but if you don't feel like playing it, then 3rd Holiday is probably for you. Now finally, for the extra deck, there's no side deck. Did I mention this was casual plus budget? So, of course, we have 3 of the big fusion, Witchcrafter Vice Madame. The entire deck revolves around her. You get her out, you do the rest. She does everything for the deck. She summons a Witchcrafter from deck. She recurs your spells from the graveyard if you've used them this turn. And of course, she's got interruption for your opponent by destroying 1 monster. This is the deck. This is the deck. Now, if you're late into the game, or you for some reason don't want to go into Witchcrafter Vice Madame, maybe you're going second, we have other options like Grand Grenol. This is the card that you will be revealing off of Fusion Deployment. 1 Blazing Cartesia plus 1 Light or Dark monster. With Grand Grenol, you can destroy 1 card by sending a extra deck monster to the graveyard. The monster you will be sending nearly all of the time, Golden Cloud Beast. This card, all you need to know, when it's sent to the graveyard, it will return 1 monster your opponent controls to the hand. Now for the last fusion that you may summon over Witchcrafter Vice Madame is Guardian Chimera. And for our last fusions, of course, we have the Azamina lineup, the Negate, the Board Breaker, and the Recursion. I'd never really go into this one very often. Any Azamina players in the comments can tell me what this one really does for the deck. Most of the time, though, we will be going into Silver. It's just a Negate. And now for the rest of the deck is basically Link monsters. So we have Artemis, Link 1. If your level 4 gets negated, you can link into this, use it to send one of your Witchcrafter spells to the graveyard and get it back in some way. Or if you have the level 1, you can send it to activate one of your Witchcrafter spells again. We have 3 Charmers, You don't have to play 3 Charmers, of course. This is just my budget, casual ass, trying to fill out the deck. So we have Dark, we have Heater for the best Witchcrafter in the game, the level 4. And then we have Light Charmer Lutrios. Summon any 3 of these, summon another monster, and then you would link 3 into Celine. 90% of the time, you will be going into access code Talker. So, of course, Celine will get you into access code, hopefully go into game with access code and her most of the time. But with Celine, if you're in a dire situation, if you're in a little bit of a grind game, summon Celine, bring back one of your good spellcasters. You could bring Grand Bruno, of course, you can bring Vice Madame. Any of your Witchcrafters you can bring back. Honestly, I might play 2, replace one of specific, probably this one, with another Celine. Because if you've gone into it already to do whatever grand game stuff you need, you won't have another one to be able to go into access code Talker. But that's basically what I've been able to come up with. If you have any ideas or feedback, let me know in the comments below. Again, this is just a casual deck. Even at its best, I don't think Witchcrafters can be even played at the local level, but you know, it's a fun deck. I bought it off my friend, so it means it's got some sentimental value to me. And I think this is probably the best place you can get with it. Witchcrafters and Azamina. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I will see you in the next one.